Many altcoins are constantly talking about new features, but the truly important developments often happen in the background. And most of the time, that's the infrastructure. And that's exactly where Cronos has just rolled out a new update, the Cronos Phi 1.7 mainnet upgrade. But the exciting question now is, why could this particular upgrade be more important in the long run than many people think? Hi, I'm Marius from 10x Invest, and today we're going to take a look at the update for Cronos. Grab yourself a relaxing coffee and leave a like for me. And then let's get started right away. This is an EVM-compatible blockchain that was built primarily for decentralized finance applications, gaming projects, and Web3 applications. And the goal is to provide developers with a network infrastructure that can be used for scalable applications. And that's exactly why updates at the infrastructure level are often much more important than they might seem at first glance. Because with the new v1.7 upgrade, it's not about features for users, but rather about improvements and developer tools. So for those working on the network, on the infrastructure. And the update is intended to make the application run more stably. By the way, if you want to see which altcoins are currently on my watch list for the next bull run, then take a look at the 10x Elite, my complete program for you. You can find all the information in the video description. So the crucial question with Cronos is, what exactly was changed in the update? And why could it change the entire ecosystem? The mainnet upgrade was finally rolled out on March 10th. March was when it was finally rolled out. And it wasn't just about new features for users, as I already mentioned, but about improvements to the technical infrastructure of the network. Specifically, two main areas were optimized. First, the software development kit, meaning the tools developers use to work and build applications on Cronos. And then the so-called RPC layer. These are essentially interfaces that allow wallets, nodes, and dApps to communicate with the blockchain in the first place. Why is this so important? Because it is precisely this infrastructure that determines how stable and fast applications run on a blockchain. If the RPC layer doesn't function properly, for example, you get problems such as long loading times for wallets, failed transactions, or even unstable dApps. But with the v1.7 upgrade, this exact communication is set to become significantly more efficient. For developers, this mainly means one thing above all: better tools, fewer errors, and more stable applications. And that's exactly the point that many investors often underestimate. Because in the long run, it's usually not the chain with the most marketing that wins, but the one where developers can reliably and efficiently build. By the way, if you want to buy altcoins on a regulated exchange, then feel free to use Swissborg. I use it myself. You can even get a bonus of up to 50 euros right now. All information is in the pinned comment. Back to the update. Such infrastructure updates are extremely important as a network grows. Because naturally, the more applications running on a single chain, the greater the technical load. And especially in areas like DeFi, gaming, or artificial intelligence, such interactions naturally put even more pressure on the blockchain. And this is exactly where it is decided whether a network can truly scale. The Cronos team is following a relatively clear strategy here. Instead of releasing rare, massive updates, they make regular technical improvements. And one example of this is the upgrade we just mentioned. Because as early as December 25th, the v1.6 upgrade was implemented, which shows a relatively tight release cycle. But it is precisely this continuous development rhythm that is an extremely important signal of activity for many projects, because it shows that active development and maintenance are ongoing. But the exciting question now is, of course, is a stable infrastructure alone enough for the blockchain and the ecosystem to truly grow? Because in the end, success is determined not only by the technology, but above all by the projects that are actually built on a chain. And if we take a look at Cronos 1.7 mainnet, it quickly becomes clear that this is not a major marketing update, but rather a classic infrastructure update. Upgrades like these are, in the long run, much more important than many investors think. Because the improvements to the SDK and the RPC layer mainly ensure that developers can work more stably and efficiently on the chain. This means that the dApps and transactions are much more reliable. The question now is, does this even show up in the chart, in the prices? And that's exactly why we're now going to do a detailed chart analysis of Cronos. Alright, let's move on to the chart analysis of Cronos. First of all, as always at the beginning, I use TradingView and the 10x indicator, but let's first take a look at the different price scenarios. So in the worst case scenario, 4 cents, that would be about minus 43% from now. So once again, an extreme downside risk. A normal scenario would be 0. 1.3, that would be an 83% increase from now. So that's already a rise. Now let's take a look at the next scenario. I'll make the chart a bit clearer. Exactly, our scenario would be 0.32. That would be about 350% from now. That's also here at the ultimately all-timer high, roughly a bit below that. And then it goes even further. Let's keep looking. Vision 2030, that would be 0.65. Let's take a look at that. Also, roughly from now. That would be about 800%. That would be, let's say, in the next bull run, if there really is an altcoin season. Yeah, but now let's take a look at the stocks. Current situation, what does it look like at the moment? We basically formed a low here, that was in 2025. The 10x indicator then also formed a big green dot, which means that a lot of people sold here, and now a bottom might be forming. Close. After that, it shot up massively. If we take a look at this, after this was formed, this was roughly here, then we went up by 400%. But then here, the indicator formed a big red dot, which means, okay, now you have to be careful, now there could be a top. And after that, after it formed, this was roughly here, we dropped almost 80%, massively. All right, what does the situation look like now? We had a small run here, that was here. Then a small formed here. A red dot formed, which means a bearish trend reversal. After that, it actually went down by 16%. And now it gets interesting. Today, on the 1st of April 2026, we have ultimately formed a green dot. So extremely interesting. That means a bullish trend reversal could be imminent. Not a guarantee, but a data-based possibility. That means a bullish trend reversal, which means that now for a while things could start moving upward again, so to speak. Maybe up here to the area where ultimately it would be back in the zone where resistance could appear. So at the moment, it's definitely an exciting time for Cronos, both technically and from a chart perspective. And if you really want to use the indicator for your own analyses, you can use it for stocks, you can use it for gold. You can use it on different time frames and really proceed in a data-driven way on the chart and truly keep an overview. You can get it on the one hand in the 10x Elite. That's basically my complete program. You can check out all the info below, or alternatively, you can also get it separately in the card. I'll display the QR code here. Otherwise, as I said, all the info is in the video description. And if you want to get started now, by the way, you currently get a 30% discount on everything, including the annual plans, so it's extremely interesting for you. If you want to know which altcoin still truly has potential in the next bull run, then watch this video. Extremely exciting. Thanks for watching and see you in a bit.